So I'm having a chat with David of Il Divo. How are you?
Hi there. Good morning. How are you? I'm doing very well, thanks.
Good, excellent. So we're having a little chat because you are heading out on tour. You're in Europe at the moment, but you're over in the UK in December. I bet you can't wait to be performing over here again.
Well, always it's a pleasure to come back to the UK and to perform. This is obviously where Il Divo was born. But it's an interesting thing because coming back to the UK, this will be the first time, and it'll be almost exactly around the same time as as what happened last year with Carlos passing away. So there's a bittersweet feeling in anticipation of these concerts.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've done some live dates already this year, and it was the first dates you did without Carlos. What was it like being on stage without him by your side?
It was heartbreaking. It really was. We had been together since the beginning for 18 years, and it obviously there was a huge gaping hole left, to fill. He had such a big personality and such a big voice, and to be on stage and it was a funny thing because we were in such shock after everything happened in December and trying to figure out, is this the end of Il Divo, or are we going to try and carry on with the music? And we got so much support from the fans all around the world saying, guys, don't let this be the end. And so we really just sort of turbocharged ourselves into trying to figure out how to move forward. And I don't think we really let ourselves feel our feelings until we were actually at that first performance, and we were standing behind the curtain and the overture was playing, and it was just the three of us. And I think that was the first time where we really just were like, whoa. And it took the better part of those first 3 weeks of performances before we could even get through a single set without one of us or more of us, breaking down emotionally multiple times throughout the show. So it was very hard. But we went through that period, and we went through the next period, and we went through the next period, and with each kind of passing concert, there was a bit more release, a bit more emotional stability amongst us as the band. And we realized at a certain point that these concerts weren't just for our own healing around us. It was also for all of the audience, all the fans, and everybody who's gone through what they went through throughout the whole COVID period. And there really was this kind of sense of community between us and the audience, having all gone through something very similar. It's never been like that in any of our concerts. It's always, kind of, we get up on stage and we give them a show and we sing our hearts out and it's like, yay! But this is just completely different now. We live in different times, and music means something different. I think it's a healing thing, and I think everyone shows up to our concerts and they feel, they hopefully feel a little bit lighter when they leave.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've touched on being together as a band for 18 years now, coming up to the big 20. I'm sure you'll have something special planned for that. And you've been releasing kind of albums throughout those years, with the last being a couple of years ago with a celebration of Motown. Where are you at with music at the moment?
Well, it really has been, it's been a singular focus for us, really, just getting to this point that we're at, trying to, like I said, figure out navigating if Il Divo even has a path forward. And, we brought in a special guest, Stephen Labrie, to help us with the sound of Il Divo. We thought at first, maybe we could carry on just as the three of us, me, Urs, and Seb, but the sound of Il Divo really requires four voices, and it requires kind of that baritone anchor, which the three of us have that in the quality of our voice. So, we asked Stephen. I've known Stephen for several years. We've performed operatically in festivals and different things for like the last 10 years. We've been kind of going in the opera circles. And so we asked him to come in and lend his voice and lend support. He was very gracious enough and said yes. So we've just been carrying on with these shows, trying to, get this sense of closure really for us and for the whole world, and going to all the territories. So we have recently kind of clocked that 2024 is the 20th anniversary, and we should probably figure out something, but we don't know quite what that is just yet. We don't have a clear path. We've just been so focused on these shows, and that's always been the way with Il Divo. It's always, since day one, since Simon sat the four of us in a room and said, what can you do with these songs? And our modus operandi was just stay focused on what's in front of us, stay present, stay focused, work as hard as we can, make something we can be proud of. And we never really thought beyond like what's happening next week, what's happening next month. So yeah, the big milestone is on the way, and we're just now starting to scratch the surface in terms of just examining like what kind of repertoire do we want to do? Do we want to keep Il Divo running in kind of our own vein and our own tradition that we've started? Do we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and do something completely new? Is it going to be a trio? Do we find a fourth? Find a fifth? I don't know. It's just so up in the air at this point. But we are starting to scratch the surface, and we're going through the process that we have always gone through, which is just to create a playlist for ourselves and just get a collection of songs. It's always been where we just kind of sit down. The record company used to do that for us. And then when we kind of charted off onto our own course of self-producing, excuse me, back in 2015, I think it was, 2014, 2015, we just went through the process of collect 100 songs. If we can all agree we love these 100 songs, great. That's a good starting point. Then, if we can whittle it down to our 10 favorite off that list, that's going to be an amazing album. And then just go back to our process of keep our nose to the grindstone, keep making music, keep being proud of what we're doing. And that's kind of how it goes, but we're not quite there yet. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and with the writing side of things, obviously you get to let's say the 100 tracks that you all agree on. Do you then try to turn them into the operatic style that you do? And has there ever been times that has simply just not worked?
There have been times. There really have been times. Yeah, I mean, going forward, I think there's an idea in mind that we don't have to hold so strictly to this idea of an operatic finale for these songs. First of all, we have to find songs that fit our voices and what our voices are capable of, and melodically, do they lend themselves to the nature of what we're doing without being too strict and formulaic of, it's got to be a high note, it's got to be his voice, it's got to be this and that. It's like, do we have long melodies that we can really sink our voices into? That's a criteria. Another criteria, Il Divo, for the most part, really is all about kind of uplifting. Most of the songs are romantic in nature, and we focus on kind of the positive side of romance for the most part. We've got some sad songs in there as well, but really, by and large, there's kind of a positive quality to that. So that's another kind of requirement as we're looking for songs. We have, for example, on paper, the song When a Man Loves a Woman, right? You think, oh my gosh, that's a great melody. That's going to be perfect, easy, knock it out hit. But if you really analyze the song, it doesn't do very much. It just kind of has that strophic na 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 na. It just does that over and over and over again. It doesn't go anywhere. So we also have to have this kind of trajectory of like where things can go to give it, an emotional. It doesn't have to be like a big ending, but it's got to have an emotional trajectory to it. So I I don't know if that answers your question or makes it more confusing.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Well, David, it's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure was all mine.